What's up, everybody, and welcome to Adam Mentality World. Today, we're going to discuss the first episode of Smackdown after the split. So now we got Raw wrestlers and we got Smackdown wrestlers. Today, we're going to discuss the fate of the Smackdown wrestlers. So it begins, and we got Shane McMahon himself and Daniel Bryan in the middle of the ring, and then we got all the wrestlers outside the ring just hanging out, just like, what do we do here? Well, not the way, I believe they're on three sides because the camera has to get to them. It's kind of like watching a TV show. Everyone eats on three sides of the table, not the one with their back to the crowd and the camera. Anyway, so they call out Dean Ambrose, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. He's got that belt, and so do I. Anyway, so they call him out and they say, hey, guess what? We're going to have Dean Ambrose fight against somebody, but we're not sure who yet. We're going to make it an opportunity for everybody. So they're going to pick 6 people. And like, wait, that's only 6 people. That's not everybody. So they go through the list. They pick the face that runs the place, John Cena. The eater of worlds, Bray Wyatt. The showstopper, Dolph Ziggler. Then we got Baron Corbin, who's had a lot of fights with Dolph Ziggler. And immediately when I saw Baron Corbin and Dolph Ziggler, I was like, oh my gosh, not again, please, God. How long does this rivalry has to last? And then we got AJ Styles, who's been fighting John Cena, which they've actually had decent matches, not unlike Dolph Ziggler and Baron Corbin. Plus, they haven't fought each other as long. And then they're like, oh, that's only 5. When they said, well, we're going to have, to determine the 6th person, we're going to have a battle royal right now after the commercial break. And so they had the battle royal, went back and forth. They said, of course, everybody gets thrown out one by one. And it gets down to Kane and Apollo Crews. Apollo Crews is, for the size he is, like a height, he's a monster. That guy has muscles on muscles. That guy can do a backflip standing up. That's impressive. To be that muscular and that agile, he is definitely an athlete. He just has to work on a couple other things. But the fact that he won the match by running away from Kane and then pulling down on the rope and then Kane going over, that was a horrible, not horrible, that was a really bad ending for the match. So you had all these people fighting, and all of a sudden Kane's like, hey, I'm going to come after you. Oh no, I lost. And then Apollo Crews wins. Like, no, like, come on, Kane's not that stupid. I said, and Apollo Crews is buff. Like, you need to build him up. Like, make him look like, oh man, he picked up Kane with one arm and threw him over the rope. And like, Kane's like 300 and something pounds. But they decided to go with the lamest way to win besides when Darren Young won a couple weeks ago for the Intercontinental Championship, #1 contendership. So whatever, that was that match. So now you have Apollo Crews as the 6th guy in the #1 contender match for the WWE Universal Championship later on that night. So then we got Becky versus Natalya again. This time it's on Smackdown live. So they had their match just like the one from Battleground and every other Raw and Smackdown between here and Money in the Bank when Natalya turned on her. Finally, what's her name? Not Natalya. Becky beats Natalya with a disarmer. I said, these poor girls, they give them horrible matches. They said just like, oh, you win with sharpshooter. Oh, you win with disarmer. Oh, you win with sharpshooter. Oh, we're going to mix it up. Now you're sharpshooter. Like, oh, you thought it was back and forth. You never know what to expect with these matches. Yeah, I expect a lame submission after these girls have been thrown this match. It's after the Divas Revolution. These girls are good. Give them better matches. Anyway, the best part of the match was the fact that after the match, Alexa Bliss comes out and she starts talking. And then Naomi comes back. She's a very good athlete too. She comes back and she starts talking. Blah, blah. Then we got Carmella, a.k.a. Mrs. Big Cass, come out and she starts talking. And then you had the cherry on top. The red, all red, everything cherry on top. Miss Eva Marie come out with the cheesiest intro I have ever heard in my entire life. It's like, she's seductive. She puts Cheerios in your bowl. She can do anything. She can change a flat tire and look sexy doing it. She got a huge boo, rightfully so. Nobody likes her. They're going to shove her down her throat like Roman Reigns. Maybe she'll pop for some kind of steroids or something to push her back. I don't know what they're going to do with this lady. She's only going to be there for a little bit. Once her modeling thing takes off, she's going to be gone. She's trying to do like The Rock did. Except The Rock, he did it because he was hard worker and he became an excellent wrestler. Eva Marie's just using it as a platform. Like, oh, I want to get here to get there. And that's why everybody dislikes her. Because they know she doesn't want to be a wrestler. Anyway, enough about that rant. On to the next segment, which was Miz TV, and it was supposed to sound like, ooh, it's Miz TV with Randy Orton, and then Miz is like, oh, it's a former champ, and like, ooh, here comes Randy Orton, and it's like, it's the Miz, like, and he starts interviewing himself, goes on, and he starts to make out with his wife, which I can't blame him, but then right when he does, you hear, I hear voices, and then Randy Orton comes out. That was an excellent rendition, by the way. I nailed that one. I've been taking singing classes. I don't want to brag. But, and then once again, he goes on about the Viperville. And Maurice, he starts talking, oh, this is the Viperville. Like, I can, who wears the pants in this relationship? Or you switch roles, who gives and takes? And she said, oh, yeah? Well, you know what? You want to match with him? He'll take it. And Miz is like, what? Babe, what have you done? So they had their match. Miz is all right. Randy Orton's freaking awesome. So they had their match, and then, of course, RKO out of nowhere rolls him up, gets the pin. Then we had another jobber match. We had a couple of jobber matches on Raw, and then we have our first supposed jobber match for SmackDown. You see just some random guy that looks like me. Could be out there in the middle of the ring just like, hey, what's going on here? And all of a sudden, Heath Slater comes in, kicks him out, and he starts going on a rant about, oh, let's make this six-pack match a Magnificent Seven, which is also the name of a movie. But, and then, what's his name? Shane McMahon comes out, and he's like, hey, man, if you want to get a better job, just send in your resume. And Heath Slater, of course, does the cheap $9.99 WWE Network plug. And he says, my resume's on the WWE Network, type it in, blah, blah. And then pops up Rhino from behind, who actually looks like a real Rhino now. He has gained a lot of weight. No offense. I mean, we've all put on some weight. That guy looks solid. That guy, he looks like a gym teacher for sure now. But and then Shane's like, oh yeah, I see the best, what is it, unpicked talent or whatever, blah blah, in wrestling. And all of a sudden he turns around and he gets gored by Rhino. So end of that match. And now for the final match, the main event of SmackDown Live, the first one since the split from Raw. We had the 6-man match. This was actually a really good match. Like I said, you can't have a bad match when you got John Cena, Bray Wyatt, Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin, AJ Styles, and Apollo Crews. All of them carry their own weight. I said, granted, Dolph Ziggler versus Baron Corbin, I've seen that. I could never see it again. It'd be fine. But like I said, through like a third of the way through the match, you see AJ and Bray beat up Apollo, and all of a sudden, Bray Wyatt turns on AJ and beats him up. But then, then AJ hits what's his name, Bray Wyatt with a 450 splash. That was really cool. I said anybody that can do that at all is good. Anybody that can do that at that age is phenomenal. We had actually a nice little thing during the match. We actually had someone was pinning somebody, and then Bray grabbed the ref from outside the ring, pulled him like his life depended on it out of that ring, and threw him onto the ground. That was actually that was the first time ever I would actually say, you know what, maybe that ref did get hurt. So then you have Bray Wyatt give Sister Abigail to Apollo Crews, and then Dolph Ziggler does the zigzag to Bray Wyatt from behind, and then he tries to roll him up and pin him, but of course the ref is still out. And then he realizes it when it's too late. But usually in any other match, this means, all right, cool, that means Dolph Ziggler's not going to win because he tried to pin him and the ref was out. And so he's just like, all right, check him off. It's going to be one of the other 5. So then Cena starts going into Super Cena mode, like that. And he gives it AA to AJ Styles. Then Apollo Crews jumps off the top turnbuckle. John Cena grabs him, rolls around, picks him up, throws him on his shoulder, attitude adjustment. And then he gives it attitude adjustment to Bray Wyatt. So he's got 3 people out. Then he tries to get Baron Corbin. He's like, ugh. Even Super Cena is starting to lose his strength. Then he reverses around, and then he finally gets Apollo Crews with an attitude adjustment. Then AJ Styles jumps off the top rope, gives John Cena a phenomenal forearm, lays him out. So everybody's laid out except for one guy, Dolph Ziggler. When AJ Styles turns around, bang, super kick right to the face. Kicks him, rolls him up. 1, 2, 3. We have a new #1 contender for the WWE Universal Championship. I gotta admit, I'm excited about this. I know Dolph Ziggler hasn't had the greatest matches of all time, but he is good. He knows what he's doing. He's been there for a long time, and you can't deny that no one knows about ragdoll physics more than that guy. You punch that guy in the face, he flops around like a dead fish or a dying fish or a fish out of water or some kind of fish. But yeah, I said, long overdue. I said, I know he was the world heavyweight champion a long time ago. Hopefully he can get a run. I said, be a heel or face, I don't care. Just get this guy up towards the top. I said, that's what I love the most about SmackDown, was the fact that Dolph Ziggler won. Not because Dolph Ziggler won, but because someone like Dolph Ziggler won. I said, because everybody thought, oh, Cena's going to win, or possibly Bray Wyatt. But nope, not the face that runs this place. It was Dolph Ziggler, the guy who used to date Nikki Bella, who's now dating the face that runs the place. But that's what I like the most about SmackDown, was the fact that Dolph Ziggler won, which makes it up to like anything can happen. And that's why we all watch wrestling, because we don't know what's going to happen. If we knew what was going to happen, we wouldn't watch it. And that is my review for the first episode of SmackDown Live since the brand split. I gave Raw an 8.5. I'd give SmackDown, it is shorter, it doesn't have quite the number of guys, I'd give it a 6.5, 6. Not too bad. Like I said, first week trying to get the ball rolling. Like I said, Stephanie's been doing this a lot longer than Shane. Shane was gone, so Shane just needs some time to build up that momentum. Hopefully he can do it. I'd love to watch both of them and be a fan of both shows. Like I said, both shows have wrestlers I enjoy watching, but there's only one way to find out, by watching next week and the next week and the next week, and they've got us by the balls. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Like, comment below, let me know what you think. Subscribe, please. I said, at 786 subscribers and one burp. Trying to get to 1,000 and then go from there. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Peace.